Welcome to BTS Spins of Ups. Disclaimer: this is a complete work of fan fiction. One was in deep slumber when she heard few noises in her room, making her to slightly stir. But then she heard a loud noise, making her flinch. She immediately got up, her senses immediately alerting, and she cautiously looks around to find any thief. She squinted her eyes, finding a shadow standing near a window. But her eyes got widened in shock, realizing the person was her best friend's brother, Jungkook, who is included in most dangerous and ruthless mafia of country. He turns towards her and fear rushed to her spine, making her startled at the line high in her system, in anticipation and fear as she starts making all negative scenarios in her mind mainly because she knows he's insanely obsessed with her. Though his profession as a mafia and him appearing in her room in the middle of the night was not helping the situation at all. He expects to see her reaction and she gulps a lump in throat. Ah, my kitten is already awake. That's right to mate. And away. He chuckles and she grits her teeth. What are you doing here? She hissed, but it didn't affect him as he loyally came towards her. Sitting on bed, he gently grazed her arm, making her feel goosebumps. What does it look like? Isn't it obvious I came to see you, princess? I couldn't stay away from you any longer. He looks up and her heart fastened in pace as she gulped a lump and looked towards clock. It's 3 at night. I think you should leave, Jungkook, she whispers, but he leans closer to her ear that she can feel his breath. That's precisely why I picked this time. I knew that what you would be all alone and defenseless. Also, we have whole night to ourselves, princess. He drawled huskily while smirking and her eyes widened in shock to hear him. What do you mean by that? Why are you here? She grits, and he says, because I have been thinking about you constantly, and I need to see you. His voice was low, and his touch was gentle but possessive. Jungkook, it's too late. Please leave. His hand went to her hairs, and she let out a shaky breath. Why would I leave when I just got here? Moreover, I just told you we have the whole night to ourselves, which means I'm not going anywhere. Lean closer to her, and fear rushed to her spine. What are you doing? What do you want to do? She stammered when his hand from her ears began to slowly. His touch was gentle but firm, leaving her trails of chills behind. What do you want to do? Oh, there's so many things I want to do, Princess. I can't even begin to describe all the things I have been imagining these past few days. She talks in air as her cheeks turns pink. You have no idea how much I have been thinking about you, Princess. How much I have been craving you every day. All the things I would. She took a shaky breath as she placed her hand on his to push him away. Did Mia knows you're here? What do you think? How will she react to know his brother was in her best friend's room doing at 3 a.m.? So I think you should leave before I call police. Leaned laughed softly, clearly amused by her threat. Police. Oh, princess, you're adorable. You really think a little phone call to the police is going to scare me away? You're so naive and cute. His expressions changed, and her heart almost dropped in pit of her stomach to see his dark eyes. Now be a good girl and stop struggling, princess. He grabbed her jaw with one hand and gripped her arm with his other hand, and pulled her closer while his face turns pale. What are you doing? Are you out of your mind, Jungkook? You might be a ruthless mafia king, but you're not scaring me, okay? And please leave when I'm telling you nicely. She tried to be confident, and he chuckled and forced her to look towards him. Oh, I'm amused, my love, but the beating of your heart and prickle of your sweat beads are speaking otherwise. In short, I can see just how scared you are. But I can't say I blame you, and don't worry, I'm not going to hurt you. At least, not yet. His smirks. Shut this nonsense, John. You're making me disgusted of you, and I told you that I hate you. And trust me, I mean each and every word I said, and you are making me hate you more now. She yelled, and his expression slightly fluttered for a moment as if something broke inside him with her words, but taking a projecting one immediately pushed him away, making him just stumble backwards. Is there no space for me? His voice dropped. It was no less than a mere whisper. No. Reply came out almost immediately, as he nodded silently and turned to leave. With a last longing glance towards her, he jumped out of window. When eyes widened in shock and held his action, as she immediately ran towards the window, but he was completely fine, standing in her garden as their eyes met for a brief moment, but then she hid behind wall and he left. She sat on couch, placing her face in her both hands. She still remembered the awful day when he first time saw her. 2 years ago, on Mia's birthday, when one went to her best friend's house for the very first time. Everything was usual that day except the fact she unknowingly wrapped a mafia around her little finger, and now he's insanely obsessed with her and claims her as his possession. And closed her eyes on the memory. Wine is 24 years old, as a fashion designer in a sophisticated company, have bold, cheerful, and witty personality. Mia's best friend who works in the same company with Wine. Chunga is 30 years old, mafia king, insanely obsessed with his sister's best friend. He can take anyone's in a split second for Wine. Rob, they kept telling us to come back for God's sake. We're already graduated and it was just a simple task to sign our documents, but they're just dragging it for no reason. She practically whined like a child. Well, that's true. It was supposed to finish last week and Professor Kim is honestly just dragging it at this point. We'll literally take off leave from work just to come here. Exactly. It's not like we're free and have nothing else to do. One huffs in annoyance. Wait. Don't you think something is fishy? One raised her brow to see her serious expressions. I think Professor Kim likes you. She tripped, while both of them eyes widened in shock when shakes her head in utter disbelief. No way, he's my father raged. They heard someone clearing his throat behind them as they flinched and looked behind. When heart almost came to her throat to see Jungkook standing inches away from her. Oh, hey Oppa, she waves with a grin. When did you came? Just when you were talking about Professor Kim. He replied huskily, with the edge of anger, while his eyes were fixed on one who just gulps a lump. I think I shall leave. She tried to run away as soon as possible. But wait, you cast in garage. How will you go now? Went in her brain as she gave them a light, tight-tipped smile. I'll call taxi. Haha, bye-bye. Before she runs away, Jungkook interrupted in the conversation. There's no need for that. We'll drop you in our way. One immediately shakes her head as no. No. You don't need to bother because of me. I'll work just fine all by myself. I mean, I can manage, don't worry. She muttered in one breath, doggedly anxious. You're coming with us. He almost scrawled, regretting his teeth, putting pressure on each word. He said, and there was no room left for her to deny or no listen to him. She gulps on the intensity of his words and gaze. But he glared her and she gulps. Okay, she stammers. From the last 2 weeks, they have not seen each other even for once, but she can sense someone is following her around, and a part of her also know who the person is. But knowing Chinko didn't give up and he still continuously stalking her, it was giving her a sense of comfort instead of creeping it out. She was liking it unknowingly, but will not accept this fact aloud. It's true he always scares a part of her when he's around, but it's also true that she's awfully by him. She looked towards him as her eyes met through back mirror, and a shiver ran down her spine as she immediately averted her gaze. They dropped Wine home, asking to make sure she reached in her apartment before he left. So what's going on between both of you? Nothing. She rolled her eyes. I know I'm younger than sister. I can read your face and those lounging eyes. His eyes. I sneaked into her apartment a few weeks ago, she gasps, placing her hand in her mouth. Are you out of your mind? You know she's already scared of you. What were you even thinking? He shrugs. I returned home after completing my mission, and it's been 2 months since I have last saw her. Weren't able to hold back myself and ended up messing everything. She hates me now. Give her a painful smile while Mia feels pity towards her brother. The love he had for Gwen was written all over his face. She sighs. Okay, I'll help you in this matter, just because you're giving me this heartbroken Romeo look. He looked towards her with the raised brow. Don't stare at me like this. I don't want my tough brother to be heartbroken. Moreover, Gwen is my best friend. I would love to have her as my sister-in-law. She grins devilishly, and he gave her a amused look. That was unexpected. He pinched her nose, and she huffs in annoyance. Okay then, our plan will start from tomorrow. She winks. As Mia promised, the very next day, her mission to make Gwen her sister-in-law started. Start inviting Gwen to all her family gatherings, knowing Jungkook would be around and Gwen can't leave or escape in front of people. And by this means, they even got the chance to casually talk with each other as well. Jung was behaving softer and more reserved. He was not acting impulsive as well. It was more likely he was trying to win her heart by each and every means. Moreover, Mia's condition started revolving around her brother, as she openly tells Wayne about his good actions, how kind-hearted he is, he only donated tons of millions every year to charity, and many other things. One was suspicious as well when Mia suddenly started talking about Jungkook every day, but she didn't mention it to her. Moreover, after knowing more about him, a cold ice from her heart was also melting, and annoyingly, she was attracting it towards him. Florence passed in a blink, and Wen was not as uncomfortable and scared around Jungkook as she was before. Moreover, she was liking his new soft light, and unknowingly there was a seed of love sprouting in her heart as well. Wen had a shopping date with Mia as she happily walked towards the destination, but her face fluttered as soon as she saw Jungkook standing there with Mia. Now why is he here now? She groaned. Do I just leave? But why would I leave? I finally had a girl late after a long time, she murmured to herself and walked towards them. Hey, she waves and Mia grins, while Jungkook faced also blown with another emotion which only burst when he saw her. What took you so long, bestie? They both shared a big bear hug like little girls. Just caught up in traffic. One smiles and greets Jungkook as well. Let's get our dresses first. Why not? As they emerged from one shop to the drop and few hours later, they have many bags in their hands, alongside with Jungkook and their bodyguards, who were following them around. Mia took a long sigh of relief after placing everything in trunk, and Wen just shakes her head in disbelief to see her dramatic self. Okay then, take care. She smiles with a wave, but Mia let out a loud squeal, startling Wang and Jungkook. Wait, what's wrong? Are you alright? Everything okay? She stared her worriedly from head to toe. No, I'm fine. It's just I had an appointment with my therapist. Oh god, he'll. One frowns, while Jungkook shakes his head on her poor acting skills. I'm sorry, Wayne. Can I take your car? She snatched her car keys from her hand before she even replied. Thank you. Jungkook will drop you. Don't worry. Muttering it, she runs away, leaving Wayne dumbfounded. What just happened? He shrugged and opened car door for her. She sighs and sits in passenger seat silently, and Jungkook went towards driver's seat. There was a heavy silence for a few minutes while he drove silently when cleared the throat to start a conversation. Don't you think she is trying it intentionally, or is it you who told her to do this? When raised a brow looking towards him, he moved his neck towards Ryan, giving her a wicked glance, before avoiding his gaze towards the road again. Whatever you think, that would be right, princess, he drawled, and she rolled her eyes. I was both of yours, Lan. And by the way, she is turning it off only in mid-sentence, leaving me with you. You guys probably find something new. He let out a brief chuckle on her words, and she also hid a smile. The fell silent again, but this time it was Jungkook's husky voice that breaks the silence. So, what do you think about my proposal? When she her role in anxiousness, that was the only reason she don't want to be around Jungkook, and the main reason she was avoiding him from last week. Well, she cleared her throat. Can't you give me a little more time? He shakes his head as no, and she sighs. Okay then, yes, she replied with closed eyes, and he stops her in halt, making her to turn towards him. What are you doing? She huffs. Do you just accept to be my girlfriend? She blushed, nodding, and the next second he pulled her. He processed anything. Oh god, I can't believe it's real, he muttered, leaving her as he gave her a butterfly all over her face, making her giggle. Relaxed and cook. She laughs on his actions. You're so cute. He cupped her cheeks, grinning. I love you, Mia Kara, and thanks to accept me as your boyfriend. He grins. Last week, he have officially proposed her to be his girlfriend, knowing she don't despise him anymore, and gladly she have accept him because in the last few months many things have changed. In short, Mia was succeeded in her mission, while Chenko did not put any less efforts. He proved himself in each and every way. Will you let me to go back to my seat? Will you tell me in the front? She blushes, and he greases her cheeks. I don't want to, but okay. One laughs to his expressions, and it warms his heart more. Then stops her in front of her home, but didn't let her leave. What? She asks with whisper. So what about it tomorrow night, 8 p.m.? She smiles, shy. Okay, I'll be ready. She smiles with a quick. She left. Next day, both of them woke up while grinning happily. One was happy, while Jungkook was more happier than her. He was set for breakfast when he got a call from his close friend and consigliere, and knowing it could be an emergency, immediately picked it. One is kidnapped. The words thrown on Jungkook like I said, as his eyes widened in shock at almost slip under his face. Those words were continuously ringed in his brain. This was supposed to be a happy day, but his senses was fast enough to respond as he immediately got up and ran outside. Hang, I want her back today itself, without even a single trust me when I say she's the most precious to me than mom. Cruelty working and trying to drag her location. Don't worry. Jing immediately reached headquarters and instructed his men for. Within an hour, they found her location and immediately rushed. They were getting nearer to opponent's car as his enemies start, but Jungkook and his team members dodged it successfully. In next few minutes, Jungkook and his men were surrounded by kidnappers as he left his car and marched towards them like a lion, and within seconds the whole road was. We will deal with them. Just get Wyan and leave, Jungkook. Someone behind him did but not on his statement as he rushed towards kidnapper's car. He opened the door only to see Wyan tied in rope. Her mouth had a duct tape, while tears were continuously dripping from her eyes. Her heart clenched as he immediately removed her tape and she sucked in a long breath, and then he immediately hugged her tightly after untying her. Everything is fine now. We're safe, baby. I promise. She sobs hard in his shoulder while he just rubbed her back soothingly to reassure her. I was so scared, she sobs. I thought you'll not come. She hugged him tightly as his heart twisted. I will never let anything happen to you when you choose to be with someone else, and my protection will still belongs to you and only you, he said, putting pressure on each word. His face was static, voice soothing and serious, with another edge she can't pacifier. Instead of dropping away into her apartment, he took her to his house. Now she was sitting on his lap, engulfed in his embrace, her small figure slightly trembling with earlier incident. I think you should take a nap. He pressed on her temple softly while raising her hairs, and she shakes her head as no. I don't want to be alone, Jungkook. she sobs with hiccups, and he grabbed her by her jaw and he made her to face him. Nothing would happen now. You're with me and safe. I'll not let a single person lay his finger on your love. He creased her cheeks with his thumb, his eyes tender, soft as he pouts, shaking her head as them. Still, don't leave me alone, Jungkook. I'm not leaving you alone, princess. Trust me. She asked him mortally, as much as Jungkook preferred to be this close and held her like this, but her trembling self and scared eyes were hurting. After it felt like hours, when Wen was much calmer and not trembling anymore, Jungkook tried to avert her attention to something else. Are you hungry? Let me make something to eat for you. She shakes her head as no, but her stomach growls, making her embarrassed as her cheeks slightly turns pink. He chuckles, lightly. We're about to take a bath and fresh up. Meanwhile, I'll cook something for you. He suggested, politely. Okay, she finally replied after thinking for a while. He smiled and softly kissed her cheeks, and with a last on her forehead, he drove her to his room and went to cook. One fresh up and wore one of Jungkook's shirt and come outside as she sat on the edge of bed, but all the earlier memories start coming back to her mind. Tonight feels heavier than others. The events of the day continuously linger in her mind, leaving her shaken. How she got kidnapped, how scared she was, and then how Jungkook rescued her and treated her like a fragile flower afterwards. Everything was disturbing her, even though she was trying to not remember anything. Don't think about anything, Wine, she muttered, and slightly hugs herself to sneak Jungkook's comforting scent in his shirt, as it eased a bit earlier tension, making her to feel relaxed. Jungkook knocks before entering in room, but he got froze, just standing in doorway, taking in sight of her in his room in his shirt, and there's something in case. He approached one slowly, as for the moment, his usual guardiness slipping away to reveal the side of him he rarely shows. Made soap, he smiles. Are you feeling well now? He murmurs, his voice rougher than usual, concern softening his tone as he sits beside her and his arm brushed against hers. I am, she whispers, her hand instinctively reaching for his because of you. She almost whispers the last word, the closest making her heart race. Jacob was surprised, but his hand tightens round hers as he grazes lightly from a man whose life is too often about taking and commanding. His touch is surprisingly always gentle with her. He looks up, his eyes searching as if wanting to memorize every detail of her face, and one's heart backlift on the intensity of his gaze. She was not well, even though he tried his best to make her feel better earlier, but now sitting alone for a while, all those things were disturbing her again. The slightly shiver and alert look in her eyes was speaking itself. You don't have to be strong with me, as if reading her face, he murmured and grabbed her jaw. I know what today must have felt like, and I can't bear to see you pretend. One defenses crumbled at his words, the exhaustion and fear of the day catching up again as the tear slips down her cheeks. But he gently wipes it. His stingray gaze and intensity almost takes her breath away. There's a beat of silence, the air thick and unspoken words. Jingle leans in, his forehead pressed against hers. It's a tender, fragile moment, one that feels etchingly. He breathes in deeply, his hands slip on the back of her neck as if anchoring himself in the moment. I thought I lost you, he finally admits, his voice rough with vulnerability, and it scared me more than anything I have ever faced. I'm right here. Her voice was soft. I'm not going anywhere. For the matter of fact, she knows by now that Jungkook really have deep feelings for her. Slowly, she might break, telling about his. As he wrapped his arm around her waist and pulled her closer, after what felt like hours, she pulled away slightly and stared him, his eyes dark and full of emotions. You're the only good thing I have, he whispers, his voice filled with revenge. I don't know if I deserve you, but I'll protect you with everything I have. She smiles. For someone who always ordered me around as if I'm his possession, you're becoming quite soft to Miss Jungkook. She stays with a soft smile, and he grinned to finally see her opening up. Love make you do things that you have never imagined. Her heart start beating faster when he make her. I thought you don't believe in love. Her fingers squeezed his hair softly. I didn't till someone special came in my life and started changing the meaning of everything for me. She bit her lips. You're changing. She leans closer. I'm loving this change, she whispers in his ear with a smile, and he held her more firmly. You have no idea how much you're driving me insane, and how badly I want to protect you from everything. She closed her eyes. Let's eat soup and then sleep. You must prepare with everything happened today. She nods silently, letting him guide the kitchen. When came out of the office building after doing a late shift, almost everybody was gone except a few people. Massaging her shoulders, she paced outside only to see Jungkook leaning to his car. A smile was her lips because Mia had left a long time ago and he was here for her. Mentally stabbing herself to act like a fool, she cleared her throat and marched towards him. Good evening, he greeted, his voice tender, and you driver in your service, ma'am. He bows playfully with a soft smile, and she lets out a giggle, throwing her arm around him, who hugs her tightly. Oh God, baby, I missed you so much. I missed you too, she whispers, and he stole a quick butterfly's flung in life in her stomach. Let's leave before I won't able to hold back. Right here and now. His arm as she turned crimson while he chuckles on her cuteness. Where are you taking me? This is not the way to go home. When was living with Jungkook after she got kidnapped? He was too scared to let her live alone, so initially he spent time in her apartment, but just 3 months ago she moved with him. Jingle stops her, and as soon as her feet's landing on floor, he puts blindfold on her eyes and hold her hand. What now? Just trust me and keep following. She just smiles, nodding. Surprise, he whispers near her ear and open blindfold when blinks a few times to adjust light. And then her hands went to mouth as she gasps in surprise and awe. Jungkook, that's so pretty. She turns towards him only to gasp to see him on his knees with a big diamond ring in his hand. I'll not give you a long speech because you already know how much I love you. Marry me, love. He smiles and her eyes glistened as she pouts and extending her hand. He grins, sliding ring in her finger. I love you, she sobs and hugs him. He chuckled and hugs her more tightly, rubbing her back. Love you more, princess. Happily ever after, she smiles. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a great day.